Students and parents at Wheatland Union High School tell us that they want the school to act after a photo made the rounds online showing students covered in Nazi symbols.
But I do want you to get a sense of what's been bopping around this community since late this weekend. It's a photo showing 8 teenagers, each one of them with one or more Nazi symbols marked on their skin. There's SS logos, there are swastikas, and because we have reason to believe they're not of adult age, we have blurred out the faces in this picture. We've also blurred out some of the hand gestures. We don't know a lot about the gathering where this photo was taken, only really what you see in it. And when we asked the school district to comment on the photo, they sent us a statement saying it's under investigation and that they can't comment in any detail about it. We did hear from another father, though, who told us his daughter doesn't fear for her safety exactly. She does, though, feel like the school has done too little about racism when it's popped up in past incidents.
It mentioned that nothing is being done, that she's tired of the same exact people getting away with things like this.
The school superintendent didn't answer our questions about past racist incidents. They are supposed to be documented according to the racism policy for the school. She also wouldn't get into what range of responses are under consideration after that photo started circulating online. We did speak to several people in this community that do say they want to see that racism policy enforced.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been here. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been here. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we can't get rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we can't get rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we can't get rid of us now. And you know that we won't ever go for you, because we've been here for life. That's it.
Happy Monday and welcome back to another episode of Black versus the Board of Education. My name is Miss Laureen and I am here to wish you all a very, very happy new year. First show of the new year. How y'all feeling? Y'all okay?
Hey, amazing.
All right, well, since I got the crew in the building, let me go ahead and let them introduce themselves. Jada, I'm going to start with you. So go ahead and say hey.
Hey y'all, we're back. My name is Jada. I am a homeschool junior in the Elk Grove area, and it's so good to be back. Happy 2022.
Melissa.
Hi everyone, happy 2022. I'm Melissa, and I am a 15-year-old sophomore in the Southern California area.
Samuel.
Hey, it's Sam. Oh, on demand. I'm in the car right now, but I'm a 5th grade homeschool. And I'm 11, and Happy New Year!
Miss Anaya.
Hey everyone, Happy New Year, first of all. I'm Anaya, and I'm currently a junior in high school.
Perfect. And my co-adult on the panel.
Hey, you already know it's your boy Matt, M16 graded of M16 in the Full Moon Wolves. I am a psychedelic, funkadelic wolf from the East Coast. That was a good one. I came up. I on the West Coast. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.
So you in the whole you just in the whole mood already. Okay, hopefully we can keep that up. Hey, Miss Lisa. So listen, y'all. Before we get to our story or our topic for today, I want to ask y'all, it's a new year. Is it a new you, or are you keeping with the same old, same old? What's going on? Sam, what you think?
Same me. It's just a different year. It's just 2021, no. Scratch it out, 2022. Doesn't matter.
Sam. Miss Jada, I see you pointing at yourself. What's that mean?
Definitely gonna try to make it a new year, new me. 2021, 2020 is in the past. It's time to grow out a new branch, succeed off of that, because last 2 years was a mess, I could personally say. So, just trying to up my game a little bit.
And Melissa looks like she's agreeing with you. What's that about, Melissa?
I'm with Jada. Past 2 years, I want to forget about, and I want to try, turn over a new leaf, do something a little different. New year, new me, hopefully.
Miss Anaya, you sticking with what worked, or you trying something new?
I haven't really made any resolutions, but on the first I was like, I feel so new. But yeah.
Oh, the feel is gone. Like the thrill is gone already.
I was
Good
like,
night.
ooh, new year. I hope it's better. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, what are you gonna do to make it better? What are y'all looking forward to this year? And Matt, I'm gonna come to you, but I want to hear from them really quickly. You guys,
Oh,
what are you looking forward to? 2022. What are you doing?
Uh,
Somebody say something. What you
just
say?
Okay.
just another year, another year
Well,
of living. I'm alive. Well,
Well,
I'm
we
alive.
love to
So
see it. We love
may as
to see
well
it.
live it up.
Jada.
I know that personally, not something really huge. I know I'm just gonna update my room a little bit, make it match my current vibe, my current aesthetic,
the
so that
funk
I'm not,
state.
yeah.
I'm hoping
So
for
I'm
her
not.
driver's license. That's what I'm
Hey,
hoping
guys,
for. Because I'm
guys,
tired of taking her
guys,
places.
hey, guys.
Uh
Hey,
oh.
let's not worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Can she drive? Can you drive?
I can do some. I can keep us alive.
There you go, Jada. That's
Woo!
right. That's right. Speak the
Yeah.
positive. Melissa, what you looking forward to 2022?
Hopefully a BSU at my school. I've been talking to some administration, and I'm going to talk to Miss Wells, who was on here the last episode, and I know she'll probably help me with that. So fingers crossed for a BSU at my school this year.
Perfect. Miss Anaya, what are you looking for?
I'm looking forward to. I want to start driving because
Okay.
I just want to be able to. I don't know, get in the car and say that I can drive. Just I don't know, bragging rights. I guess be like, yeah, I could drive. Yeah.
I mean,
And
there's some
then
people in the car that can't drive that think they can drive, but I hear you.
right, so I'll be like, I can drive.
They learned in
You
Bikini
know.
Bottom boating school.
Right, that part. So as we took a couple of weeks off, I just want to acknowledge a couple of things. Both Matt and I celebrated birthdays. Matt is a New Year's Eve baby. Give it up to Matt.
Yeah, Capricorn. I had to
No,
just
no,
let
no,
y'all know
no,
that.
no.
I mean,
It's a Sagittarius thing over here, but I hear you.
okay,
And then
okay, we'll respect it.
what we also want to give Matt a shout out. Matt's morning show actually started today. And so he's a brand new morning show radio host out there in Los Angeles for Dobby Radio. If you want to check him out Monday through Friday, you can do that DobbyRadioLive.com. And
Yep,
they can hear you.
DAVIRadiolive.com.
And they can hear you.
6
What?
a.m. to 10 a.m.
Okay, I'll probably catch you around 9, but good looking for sure. Okay, so let's
Thank you.
transition. So welcome back, everybody. Let's transition. So you guys know that we're going to be talking about Wheatland High School over the break. These pictures aired, and I'm gonna try to share my screen. So bear with me. Let me go to a tab here.
Raise these people, man.
So the picture that we're looking at is this one right here. These beautiful young people um, showing the best that they have to offer by drawing on their skin and the symbols. And I did not pick the picture that has them blurred out because if you're bold enough to do it, you're bold enough to face the consequences, and everybody should see you. And so, we just on a good Twitter, and my friend here, Miss Bass Barbie 182, done told us their names. Um, yeah, that's interesting because you cannot hide when you do wrong stuff. And I know that I asked you guys over the break, kind of what you think should happen to these young people. And I just, what do y'all think of this photo? Let's
Uh,
start there. Matt, go ahead, Matt, because you just chomping at the bit. What you want to tell us, Matt?
I don't know. I don't know what in my Uncle Jesse left his beer cupboard open this is. Who raised? But I'm gonna tell you this. That it happened off a campus, no comment thing is bogus because, mind you, this not only the obvious part, what policies need to be in place. So let's not waste a bunch of time with that conversation, but also with them being athletes, they should be held accountable for their behavior on and off the field and campus. Wouldn't that happen if Jay or Maurice did something in the streets and it was like, well, you know what, Maurice can't be on the football team. And we would be right here on this show arguing about why he's suspended from the football team right here if it were vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
And it
So
looks like Sam was
yes, I
pointing.
said, what in the Uncle Jesse left his beer cupboard open is this
Samuel.
in the new year.
And I'm gonna put my picture down here because I need to see Sam.
It's craziness. Like why? Like why? 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 What's the point? What's the point of drawing swastika on your body being like, Hail Hitler? What? Like why? Why? There's no point. Obviously you weren't raised right. First off. Second off, you don't know what consequences are. Because if you knew consequences, you wouldn't have done this. This is putting your whole future in jeopardy. Second off, and the consequences that they should face full tenfold. I don't care. Go ham. Take away their scholarships. Go at it. I don't care. Because if you have enough audacity to do this, you can go through the consequences that has, the repercussions that it has coming with it.
There you go. Yeah. Melissa?
We see this constantly where white kids are like falling through the cracks. They'll do something and then they barely get any consequences. But like Matt was saying, if it was a black kid doing something on the side, and it could be something less offensive than this, doing something and they simply got called out for it, and they would immediately get expelled, or if they're an athlete, get kicked off the team. So, we just constantly see this where white kids and white people, their privilege is showing. Their privilege is showing right there in that picture. And, we see this constantly, and it's tiring.
Jada?
You can see that this is white privilege right here because they really thought it was cute to dress up and draw signs of terrorism on their body. I just find that flabbergasting, but I can't say I'm surprised because I just can't say I'm surprised. Keep it clean.
Yeah, and I think that and I'm gonna come right to you, Anaya, but I think that the bigger problem, the swastika is okay, but there's these things right here, and then you got the nice little hand gestures, and then what is this? What does it say? I don't know what that says. This say Coors down here. So we have what, underage drinking. So will the parents be being brought up on charges too? They need to be. Miss Anaya?
Yeah, I didn't even think about the underage drinking part. And yeah, definitely, depending on whose house it was, the parents should have charges pressed against them. Also, I think, like, just because they weren't at school doesn't mean that they still can't face the penalties and consequences for their actions, especially on sports teams. Like, you need to be kicked off the team. For example, I'm on the cheer team, and when we do stuff, even if we post stuff on social media, that is like, we post bad things on social media, we can be kicked off the cheer team. Like, we can't post a red Solo cup on social media without clearly saying, like, this is water, this is this type of juice in it. So if we can't do that, what makes you think you can do this and just get away with it?
Yeah, and I want to show you guys this. This is, I want to say it's the school policy, and I don't know how to make it bigger, but it says any behavioral offenses resulting in school suspension will result in at least a concurrent equal length suspension from the team. It says the Wheatland Union School District believes that all students have a right to be safe, healthy in a school environment, the district, schools, and community. And we're going to underline community because that don't say at or on the school campus. You have an obligation to carry yourself like you got some doggone sense in your life because you are a representative of said school, correct? That's how that goes. But then we get down here to this, the following offenses and consequences, right? So first offense. So if this is their first offense, they only looking at one game. So if it was a second offense, they would be looking at 4-game suspension. And then a third offense, they would be removed from the team. So my question is, should they get more chances to offend in this way? Somebody speak to me.
No. Because once again, it wouldn't be accepted anyone else. Black student, anyone else. Just like Anaya was saying, the cheer team situation. Um, and another thing, let it be one of you young ladies in a picture like that. CPS gonna be at your doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing. So, and then also you pointing that out. Well, if rebuttaling wise, you ask the superintendent, "Hey, A, B, and C. What is the comment going to be then? No comment still."
What they'll tell you is that they cannot discuss discipline, right? So they can impose a discipline, but they won't tell you exactly what happened. So if you look over
But they
here,
could in other instances, if you go back and do your research beforehand, they
they
kind
can't,
of do.
they can't tell you. If you call the school and you ask them what's going to happen, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to tell you because that's the tape, right? They have to protect themselves. If they say something and they are brought up on a lawsuit, they are liable. So they don't say. They give you a range of things that could possibly happen, but they won't specifically tell you what's going on. The other issue is so if you look over here, they said somebody posted an update to the article. It says they're suspended so far, and some of them got their scholarships taken away. But now the police are involved, so who knows what's going to happen? Consequences of their actions. Shame. Um,
Right.
I mean, look, I've seen black kids hemmed up for less. I've seen black kids assaulted on campuses by school police.
Yeah, we've
With
seen a
no
young
case.
we've seen a young black child girl jump and get almost worse than that. Remember, almost
Yeah.
lose an entire school year.
So I don't feel sorry for them. I think that this should be the least that they can do is suspend them. But when you bring them back onto a campus, knowing that they have this ideology, what is that doing to the safety of those around them? Melissa.
You're putting all of your other students in danger. I saw a comment that just came up that said this could have been a lot worse, or next time it could be a lot worse. You're bringing
Other students are watching.
others, yeah, exactly. If you're bringing them back on campus and nothing has happened, so they are suspended, so their scholarships were taken away, so those are some consequences. But if you're bringing them back on campus and it hasn't been addressed in a wide enough way, other students are going to see this and are going to think that this is okay, are going to think that they can do this and they can do worse. Like, it could be a lot worse for the other students on their campus. They're putting every single student in danger.
Yeah. And then I just want to I'm sorry, Sam, did you have something you wanted to add?
I wanted to say that honestly, it's just mind-boggling, just crazy, and the effect it would have on the other students is that I don't think they understand the gravity of those symbols and those signs. I don't think they understand the gravity that holds in just people that like walk down the street. They don't understand the gravity that holds in people's minds. People like carrying swastikas. People feel terrified by that because they know what could happen and what has happened from people who carry that mindset and and that ideology.
Yeah.
So they don't. I feel like they don't understand the weight of that. They're like, "Oh, let's just do this because it'll be such a funny prank, right? Right?"
And Sam,
But
I'd like to disagree with you because I think they did because they were smiling in that picture because they thought they were cute and they thought it was funny. And like Miss Lisa said, they were taught this at home because if they were raised right, they would have known that they wouldn't have got away with this and they wouldn't have done this in the first place. And as a student, seeing a group of kids supporting the Nazis, et cetera, I'd be scared going on campus and having to see them walk around like fearful. Are they going to hurt me? Like, what's their mentality like? They're a danger in my opinion, and those are the people I need to stay away from. But the fact that you're going to allow them on this campus shows the lack of the lack of discipline at the school.
Like you said, at home, how many of those parents came and said, I am appalled at this. I've never seen him do that, but what in the world? I still ain't even heard of that, really. Or like, where are you getting it from? If even
Yeah.
not them directly.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good thing to pull up. Now, if you notice, I just pulled this tweet back up because look at this one. Now you see they like to give them out. It looks photoshopped.
How are ink drawings of Nazi symbols photoshopped on your body? I'm confused.
Have you ever seen something that looks photoshopped?
If it's photoshopped, they did a really good job. Good job.
Right.
Great job. You should get a scholarship in
Look,
digital art.
and look at the next one. Yes, I think you are correct. Look how similar the emblems are. I'm sorry, are the emblems supposed to be different when they're specific? Like, what are we talking about? But the benefit of the doubt is always given, right? Like their intentions are always they're always given like grace in their intentions. Like, oh no, this was just kids being kids. But now if they were bold enough to teach critical race theory, maybe they could learn something. Go
I
ahead,
agree.
Marie.
The benefit of the doubt is always given to white kids, especially with a symbol that is this powerful and this hurtful. Like, I know at my middle school, we used to have to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I do not pledge to the Pledge of Allegiance. And so at one point in time, I was going into that new school and I got kind of like in trouble. And I know they were black kids. They were like, you're supposed to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. You put your right hand over your heart. We were like, no, we're not doing that. So it's white kids are always given the benefit of the doubt, but you don't understand how hurtful the Pledge of Allegiance can be for black kids. There is not liberty and justice for all. As a black person, that does not apply to me. So I don't understand why I need to stand for this to make you comfortable. But these white kids right here who are doing something that is deliberately hurtful to to a lot of people are getting the benefit of the doubt.
It's just sickening. I mean, I don't think that there's any. I mean, and the biggest issue for me is that their behavior is excused by people who look like them. So are they hiding the fact that they too believe that certain people are more superior to other people? And if people want to tell me no or that I'm wrong, I can just look at the discipline data from all of your districts and I can tell you that you don't see black children as human beings. You see them as something to be corrected constantly. And they're not given this benefit of the doubt. It's disgusting. Sam? I think he's trying to come off mute. So while we're waiting for him to find the mute, let me see if I can help. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
And you heard what they said in the thing. They said students feel like in past instances they have not done anything. So these students were also thinking that they wouldn't get consequences because of past instances. With racial things like this, the school didn't do anything. The school probably did minimum to nothing. So they just feel like we can do this and we won't get in trouble like those other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the school is feeding into this energy that kids could just post racist things and do racist things and just get away with it because of their actions. Your actions speak louder than your words. You may say we don't condone racism, but why would this happen? The only reason this happened is because you condone racism previously on your campus.
Yeah. And I think that is what we see on a lot of these campuses. It's condoned.
So school to take full accountability. Sorry, I'm in a parking garage, so
You're okay.
Internet's a little bit spotty. But You can't just dodge it and be like, well, they were off campus, and it's technically not our fault. It was by their own doing. No, they wouldn't have done this if they didn't see examples of people getting away with doing stuff like this in their school.
And I believe the person said that it's the same kids getting away with it. That's what I heard. Am I right? Wrong? Is that what she said? It's the same. The father said she's not fearful of her safety. She's just frustrated or something, to some word they use, that this continually happens and the same kids get away with it. So again, you have school or you have students who see that there are no consequences for certain groups of kids while the consequences continually are directed at them. And we got to talk about that. Because how do we expect, students to feel what did her statement say again? I think she said something about well, their regular, what they normally say is, we believe in fostering an environment where all the kids are, safe and they feel welcomed. But you have kids who don't feel welcome. You have kids who don't feel safe. And when you have kids who don't feel safe, then what? I agree. I think it is absolutely akin to cyberbullying. I believe so. And y'all be on the lookout for bots because they're starting to enter our chat if you see them. Some people don't like when you're talking about stuff and putting certain things on blast. But yeah, we have to start to deal with the issue. The issue at hand is that these districts are not teaching certain things, and not saying that these kids are ignorant to what Nazis did. I believe they know fully what they did, and that's why they're wearing those symbols with pride. And we have to talk about that. Jada?
No, I was just agreeing. And like I said, it really just goes back to how you were raised, especially because you'll see in Black homes where they'd be like, when you leave this house, you're not only representing yourself, but you're representing us as well. So don't be going out here acting a fool.
Facts.
So when they left that campus, they shouldn't have the excuse of, oh, well, they're off campus, so it's technically not our problem, but they're still representing you guys. And for you to let this slide, it reflects poorly on you.
Now tell them again how Black parents act. Tell them again, what type of stuff would your parents tell you? What's your daddy? What me and your daddy tell you?
All y'all really tell me is that when you step outside, don't be acting different because you're not representing yourself, but you're also representing us. So if you go out here to act a fool, they're going to think, oh, her parents raised her this way? Oh, that's how they do it? I don't know.
What in the Uncle Jesse left his beer covered open is this?
Matt.
All right, I'm done.
What you tell your kids leaving the house?
If they do that, don't come back to the house. Matter of fact, don't even come back. I'm gonna go to the school and say whatever y'all decide to do with this child. She might be worse. No, but same thing, man. I think it's understood across the board. So that's why we're trying to figure out who raised Jill. Who raised Jill? Because the same thing Jada saying, the same thing, Anaya, the same thing we've all heard. The same thing I feel like it's common sense.
Common sense isn't common for everybody, though.
So if that's what you own, then we can only look left, right, or up. You're getting it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Melissa, probably Uncle Jesse's beer cupboard.
Melissa, what type of stuff do your parents tell you about going out the house or whatever? This stuff.
You're a reflection of me. So I'm a reflection of my mom, of my dad. So the way I act outside of the house is the way that people looking in are going to assume that I was raised. Like Matt said, who raised you? If you go out there and act like these white people here, Georgie and Roper and all of them, then they're going to think that that's how you were raised.
That's right. That's right.
They'd be
And
like,
we
he'll be
expect more
embarrassing
from
us.
you, right? We expect more from you guys. Anaya, talk to me. Does your mama and daddy expect more of you than
Yes,
this type of
definitely.
behavior?
Yeah, it's unsaid. Like that's an unspoken thing. Like they don't tell me, don't do this, don't do that, Anaya, because for me it's common sense. And then what my mom tells me is like you never know who you're gonna see, so act right. So like when we're out in public, because she knows a whole lot of people, like we'll see her friends and stuff, and she's like, "See, that's why I need to be acting right at all times because you never know who's out here watching you." So
Now let me ask y'all something. When you look at this picture, right? What message do you think they are trying to send? Jada, I already heard you say they think they're cute. I know one of the little young girls. I don't know which one. I can't remember which one it was. She was on Instagram or somewhere, and she was saying, "Oh, I didn't mean to offend anybody. I just didn't know." Like, at what point do we begin to hold people accountable? Because I remember growing up, they would tell us, black children, ignorance of the law is no excuse, right? So, regardless of what you don't know, they knew something to do some picture like this. So, what message do you think this is sending?
Say it in one word: hate.
Hate for whom? Oh, you point at the blacks?
Yes, sir, ma'am.
Okay.
But yes, sir.
These kids are y'all's age. What do you think they're saying to you?
And it could. It's. I think it's just. It is what it is. A spade is a spade. Okay, let's just stick. Let's just look at it that way. We call a spade a spade, and individual accountability is what this is about. Period. That's what we're here for. And before it gets twisted or misconstrued like a side versus another, let's just look at the real facts here. Individual accountability, and there is difference in the way each of us are treated when it comes to the platform such as public school. And
Yeah.
now this right here says that okay, anyone looking testing the water say okay, if I can get away with that, I can keep, and it ain't gonna stop till somebody gets hurt,
Yeah.
or if one of the black parents' children confronts one of them, then that's at that moment, then that child's going to get disciplined and probably thrown out of school for being hostile
Yeah. And I
because
agree.
we don't condone it, but we can't stop every young person from feeling like, hey, well, I want to confront the situation. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but
And
it
I
starts
like
there, though. Look at that.
and and I would like to agree with Miss Lisa's comment on superiority, because they're sitting here like, haha, I can do this and get away with it, but God forbid if a black person was to show up at school with the bandana, we would immediately have to take that off. Or like I think that we had talked about a story a couple days ago. People were pretending to this little TikTok trend where the guns were coming at the camera. Everybody got expelled and suspended, but they're like, cheese, photo,
And as
terrorism.
adults, it seems like as adults, we're instigating it by allowing it and not nipping it in the bud.
I want to know who
And
took
that
the
makes
picture.
you wonder what is the agenda if we're not nipping it in the bud. Sorry, Jada.
No, it's okay. I just want to know who took the picture. I want to know if it was a parent or another student who's hiding behind the camera. Like, I'm not a part of this. I just took the
Well,
picture.
Uncle Jesse said, "Don't tell them I let y'all in the beer cupboard. I'm gonna take the picture." Okay, I'm done. Okay, not again. I won't do it no more. I'm
So
done.
just to
I'm
recap,
done.
everybody, we are talking
I'm
about
done.
the issue with Wheatland High School. These students were at, it looks like, some sort of get together. As you can see, they have open bottles of alcohol. They're giving some nice little hand gestures, and they painted or drawn. They didn't paint that. They drew that. Looks like maybe with some Sharpie. They drew on themselves swastikas and SS and whatever else. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm not really sure. This one over here in the corner, I don't know what she got. I don't know if that's a butterfly or what on her tummy. But again, we're discussing Wheatland High School. I'm gonna go back to my original question, Melissa, Anaya, Sam. What message do you think these people, these students, are sending out? And I wanna kind of focus your attention right here in this area. What are they telling? What's the message?
At first, I wanted to say ignorance, but that's lack of knowledge. And I think they know exactly what they're doing. Like you said, from this hand gesture right here, they're saying that they don't care. And it's the school's fault because, like we said earlier, it has been brought to the school's attention that there are other racist things happening on and off of their campus. So things are happening and kids are getting away with it. So this is just another version of them saying we're getting away with something else. They don't care and they're doing what they want to do.
And forget how you feel about it. We're gonna do what we want, and we will not face any consequences because this is our country.
So that's not Photoshop.
No, I don't. Matt.
No. What the guy say?
I mean, there's always going to be those who, want to, give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not one of those people. Because, again, if it were black students would not be asked what they know or what their intentions were. They are going to be ascribed the intentions of whoever is looking at the incident, right? So I don't want to hear about what's Photoshop, what's not Photoshop. If it was Photoshop, genius, this girl wouldn't have been on there apologizing, saying she didn't know. So let's be clear. We're not going to do that. We're not going to give them any outs because they were aware of what they were doing. I don't care how many white crocodile tears are cried after the fact to get themselves out of trouble. The fact of the matter is they knew exactly what they were doing.
Not having it, like Kenny Gray
and
says.
they didn't expect to face any consequences for this conduct. Because people who think that they're going to get in trouble don't smile in a photo with middle fingers and open bottles. Now let's get to these open bottles. Because they're probably not 21. And if they're on varsity and JV, I know they're not 21. So what responsibility do the parents have? Anaya? Oh, Sam has his hand up. Let's go to Sam first, so that in case because he's going to the Warrior game, and I don't know how long he's gonna be online. So Sam, what should the parents? Let me help you out. Oh, I can't unmute you.
I can do it.
Okay.
They have a lot of responsibility for what this happened. First off, it's poor raising that caused this. Second off, how are you gonna let your kids unsupervised just happen to buy drinks? Like, how does that happen? As a parent, you're supposed to prevent that and prevent your child from doing this. This whole situation is reflective of what the parents are doing at home. Obviously, they're not teaching them right. Obviously, they don't know how to act, and they don't know how to behave in public spaces and just with people in general. And they don't have house training. Honestly, it feels like they don't have house training. Feels like they're like 2-year-olds doing this. They know what they're doing, but they don't care.
I like what Sam's saying.
Trouble.
Yeah, I agree. Matt, I'm sorry, we were going to go to Anaya, but go ahead, Matt.
I like what he's saying, but also at the same time, we teach them what we can, and even in the situations if they're learning it outside of the home, how they allowing them that much freedom that they're not paying attention to the type of things that they're doing and who they're hanging out with, and still at the same time, even when that came out to light, why they're still allowed to participate in curricular or activities or platforms that represent the public school, because the team represents the school, they represent the team, and so to condone any of it, regardless, it still goes back to either way. The parents is like, were you allowed that much freedom that where you didn't notice that? And it's still a question. It's questionable all across the board. Who raised you, or who left their little cupboard? I said I'm not gonna do it again. I'm not gonna do the Uncle Jesse thing again.
Yes, but still,
Who raised you, man?
that does not negate my question. What responsibility do the parents have, Anaya?
A lot.
I think, yeah, I agree with Mr. Matt. They have a lot of responsibility. Like Sam was saying, they don't have any home training. I agree, but I disagree. They don't have home training like we have. They don't have the correct home training. But obviously, they had this type of hate speech and white supremacy and superiority idea. That's their home training. That's what their parents taught them. It's their parents' responsibility to teach them what and what not to do. And obviously, they failed. Of course, somebody bought those drinks for them, if somebody over 21 and they gave them to them, or if they just let it, like Mr. Matt was saying, somebody left the code open, it was still the parents' responsibility. At the end of the day, it's always going to be on the parents.
So somebody should be being brought up on charges of contributing to the delinquency of a minor, or several. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 charges of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Let's start there. Underage drinking, somebody should be facing charges for that. And then I don't know if this is correct or not. All these kids don't look straight up white to me. They don't look straight up white to me. Like this joker back here, this one right here. I don't think these are white kids. I don't know. What say you?
No comment.
I do say some, probably like 2 of them look a little Hispanic, got a little Hispanic tendencies inside them.
I mean,
I noticed that.
Dark eyebrows. I don't know. They don't look straight up white to me. I don't know. And so that then brings up the question, what do they understand these symbols to be? And why they got them on? Come on, Phaser. I'm saying. Y'all talk to me. If you're in the comments and you got something to say something to us. Say something to us. Because I know I'm not the only one that sees it.
You see what Phaser said?
Yeah. Let's be honest. There are people who pass so they can be accepted so they don't become targets. Let's talk about it. Matter of fact, growing up, I mean, if they would implement some of this, what I call history, they would know that there's some black folks that pass for white. So they wouldn't become targets. We have to have the conversation. We have to. Because if we don't have that conversation, we do you all a disservice. I want to see the police go in and arrest some parents and slap them with charges and make them responsible and hold them to the same type of standard that they hold black parents to.
Ever since the Bacon Rebellion, that notion has been protected.
You said the Bacon Rebellion? Okay.
Some history we don't talk about in school.
Teach us something.
School. Well, if you research the Bacon Rebellion, and I don't want to quote wrong, but there was a lot of things around where they kind of fooled the people. And white, when they added, wasn't like a race. It was more of a group of people and around a law that was passed when white was established. But if you do a little more research, because I always say don't go off of everything you hear, look up the Bacon Rebellion. That is one of the things that I don't think is taught in public schools for reasons.
A lot of stuff ain't damn taught in public schools.
Don't get me to start it.
Let's see.
So let's tell us about it. What's the Bacon Rebellion about?
Well, I mean, since we love to make sure that
I think 1800s.
Hold on now, I'm gonna pull it up for you.
maybe 1863. Am
Bacon's
I wrong?
Rebellion,
1600s, I believe.
1600s. I'm wrong.
Yes,
1600s.
1676.
Ooh, I was way
Be
off.
the first stirring of the revolutionary sentiment in America, which culminated in the American Revolution almost exactly 100 years later. However, in the past few decades, based on findings from a more distant viewpoint, historians have come to understand Bacon's Rebellion as a power struggle between two stubborn, selfish leaders rather than a glorious fight against tyranny. Oh, well, I ain't gonna spend too much more time. Y'all want to look at that? Y'all can go into
I think
that.
if y'all dig into that, y'all will see some points that'll make you say, "Whoa, wow." And I don't think, and I mean not just black. Um, I mean a lot of all the children there, black and white. I think if they were educated on the Bacon Rebellion, they would look at you, like, oh, wow, that's why this is hidden.
There's
Because
a
like I
lot
said, a
of
lot of it's
stuff.
taught at home. I don't think there's no way every white child is just born like, oh, I mean, my bad, I hate you. You see them
See,
that
I'm gonna have to get my see. I had
just
it on
inter
my.
just interact just acting out the part almost made the hate speech come out. Ew.
See, I had this. I had this just for you, and I
You got
didn't.
a bleeper? Bleep. Well, I was off my train of thought there. Anyway, just dig into it more. I didn't want to take up too much time. I didn't think you was gonna pull it up, but nice. Very witty there
Yeah,
with your little
I'm just
gadgets.
saying. With my gadgets, it's called the internet, boo.
Oh no, I mean you're right. You was just
Let's
quick with
see.
you was witty with
I
the
mean, a
hands.
quick little Google search. Let's see. Let's see.
Quick draw.
So, since I'm over here looking up stuff, I figured that I would share something with our melanin deficient cohort.
Oh god.
Um, and just in case they didn't know what it is, um, they said though, which is something I didn't know, the swastika is an ancient religious icon in various Eurasian cultures. It is used as a symbol of divinity and spirituality in Indian religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism.
Yeah, and if you really dig in the homework on that, Hitler did take it from them, take that, and he branded it a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say this: there's no way they can go and say they were doing this because of Hindu reasons.
Come on now. We already know. But again, what you don't
But we
know,
do know it came from a sacred place of divinity, but that ain't what it's being used for, and we all know that, and we ain't no fools.
I mean,
So
come on now.
it can't be
That's,
flipped to that. Now
I don't
that is the representation of what it was branded as Nazi wise.
right. And I did see the question, what's happened at the school from what we can tell. I mean, and this is just very stuff that we've been able to find on Twitter. It says they're suspended so far, and some of them have got their scholarships taken away. But now the police are involved, so who knows what's going to happen? Consequences of their actions. Shame. Um, yeah, and I think that that's the least that can happen. But now we got to start holding some of these parents accountable because until your children are 18, that's what they tell us. Until your children are 18, they're your responsibility.
Yeah.
So I don't care what you didn't know they were doing. You were supposed to know.
And
And
Matt
then,
brought
go ahead, Mama.
and Matt brought this up earlier. If it would have been black kids, CPS would have been up at the house talking to the parents and taking these kids away. So the parents need to be held accountable because if they were black, the parents would be held accountable.
Facts. And then, Faisal, I think you're talking about this gentleman right here throwing up the okay. That's this thing 666. Yes, yes, yes. White supremacy symbol. Um, But I'm more concerned though about these open bottles. Like we can absolutely, I mean, those are easy charges. Like I need to help the police, I think. Like these are open bottles of minors. Like, start there. Start there. Because there's no excuse for this behavior. Um, Although schools will kind of try to escape their culpability in it, You have policies in place. Your athletes are to be held to a higher standard because they are ambassadors of your program. If you did not condone this thing, you would have addressed it before now because of your ignorance and your decision to allow things to continue to fester. This is what you get. You made your bed, now lay in it. Lay in it. And you figure out how you're going to keep the other kids that you've left as open targets on your campus. You figure out how you're going to keep them safe because now you know. We're not showing the edited picture. Here they are. What's their names? Hold on. Let me go back up here. We got Georgie and Roper and Aiden and Annika and Austin and Dayton. You got them. There they are. I feel like some names are missing. Hold on. How many? 1, 2, 3, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're missing 2 names. Where they at? Who are they? We're missing a couple names. If you're bold enough to do this, you are bold enough to shoulder the consequences. So I'm gonna need them other 2, and 2 of them are our brothers. So I'm wondering if this is their house. Go to Georgie and Roper's house. Start with them. Go talk to Mama, and then as Matt said, go find Uncle Jesse and figure out how many bottles in his cabinet been opened. Like we got to, because this type of stuff, when we see it, we got to call it out. Because
I didn't buy that Bacardi for them at 7:30 the other night over there on Sprite Street.
Wow, you giving locations?
Oh no, that's what, whoever took the picture. We want to know.
We
We
do want
curious
to know.
about that too.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we're just trying to figure some stuff out. Because again, if this is swept under the rug and it's not dealt with appropriately, it will escalate. And next time, they may have somebody in the picture that they've beaten up, or somebody that they tied up as a joke, or we'll be looking at some black kid or other kid that went and spent the night and woke up to people pissing on them, like that little boy in Texas.
In all seriousness, this is a situation that we're seeing right now. It can be prevented.
Yeah.
If they're held accountable immediately, and it's that simple.
I believe there was a movie like this once that I think me and my mom had watched, where it was like there was a college, but there were these white people that supported Nazis, and they had their head shaved, and they were going around campus and beating people up. And I'm like, this is like a low-key real life situation. Like, this stuff can happen. Like, that's why this scares me so much, because this stuff could actually happen, and it could go to the extreme if we don't tackle it now.
Yeah, and I think the movie you're referencing is Higher Learning, that came out back in, I don't know. I mean, I'm a little older than y'all, but it had Ice Cube and Tyra Banks and Omar Epps and golly, I can't remember the guy who played Remy, who was basically a loner, and he found his community in a group of Nazis, and yeah, it's just, you know how they like to talk about.
So 95, Higher Learning came out in 95. So I just January 11th, 1995.
Oh, he using Google. Come on, man.
If that's the if that's the case, why are we having why are we still experiencing a Higher Learning type situation that could happen right before your eyes?
Why are we experiencing it?
When you can,
Melissa, Anaya, Jada, why are we experiencing it?
Because, you know what? I don't know.
Because they won't teach the right things in schools. They want to hide. They want to hide the history.
When you don't know your history, you are bound to repeat it. That's why we're having this conversation again. Right now, with the same type of stuff, there's nothing new under the sun. It's just been regurgitated, right? There's nothing new. So they got this from somewhere. They ain't even living in Germany. Like, come on. Where you get this from? Who told you this? Like, we have to be clear. This type of stuff irritates me because it's just like they look at it as just harmless child fun. This is not fun. And if you think this is fun, you need a new hobby. Because these things have very real consequences for people who don't look like them. The people who are focused on. These have very real consequences. So, we're not just going to let them absolve themselves or let anybody absolve them of this. We absolutely have to protect our children. And the thing is, if they came to school and they saw one of these jokers, because, our kids will go up and confront these kids and they'll hurt them. They'll hurt them. Black children will be hurt. Not by them, but by the power of the pen. Because they will not look at what these children did to incite the reaction. They will only see the reaction. Right? We see it. What's that young lady that the one that was being bullied and they told her to basically go off herself, right? And then those black kids started protesting and they went and confronted these kids, right? What happened? Talk to me. What happened? They shut the school down.
They shut the school down and they were penalized. They were held accountable as if they would have aggressions.
Just like that story about the boys on the football team, and they got that stuff through Snapchat, and they came to school and confronted them. What happened?
The boys got punished. I think did they get suspended or expelled? Yeah.
Yeah. And remember, the football team was going to sit out and protest. What did they tell them?
They told them that if you protested or something, you'd have to forfeit your whole season or something
Come
like that.
Come on. There are bigger stakes when we respond than when they do the action.
But you might see these boys right here at the championship game.
Oh. Let's talk about it. That's what is happening. That's why we need to hold these schools accountable. And that's why we are Black versus the Board of Education, because we're going to put it on blast every chance we get. It's unacceptable, and we're no longer accepting it at all. Be forewarned. We're not accepting this anymore. New year, new me. New us. 2022. Understand, this type of conduct will no longer be tolerated. Y'all got anything else to say? We got about 2.5 minutes left. Anybody else want to reiterate anything, Samuel? Jada? Somebody? Anybody?
I can't say the things I want to say, so just know I'm thinking them.
But you can say them. Let me get my little beeper up for you.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and bleep, bleep, bleep. There you go. Thanks for saying it. And quote me. Say it again, please.
Samuel, did you have something to add, love? I don't know where Sam went. Jada, Melissa?
I'm pretty much talked out.
Go ahead, Sam.
Something to add. I was just saying the reason there's no reason this should have happened, but it happened because they don't believe that there's any serious consequence to what they do. And they said, "Oh, it's gonna be funny, and we're gonna make little people feel bad, and that's great. We're gonna make people's day worse. We're gonna make people just relive those memories again and again, and that's just fine with me because it's all in fun and games, right?
It's all fun and games.
But they don't want to accept those consequences, so they just deflect them, and they're just little racist white people.
Low racist. And let's not forget, all of them ain't white. Ain't just white.
They're passing.
We have to be clear. just because they don't look like they will hurt you. Their ideology may be on the same lines as some of these other people. I think that there's a few books out there that you guys can look into. How the Irish became white, the making of Hispanics, um, our kind of people. There are a bunch of books that we can get into so that we can start to look at these things and these class systems and how one thing impacts the other. But again, I'm just saying, moving forward,
Raised y'all.
no, 2022, we're not accepting this anymore.
I know I
This is
speak for everybody when I say, we know it ain't everybody, and we ain't looking for no pass. We want accountability, and man,
hold on. Let me get just in case, man.
we're gonna mash the gas. We're gonna mash the gas all year long. That's all I'm gonna say. It is
Mom,
what it is. I'm
your
sorry.
buttons are sounding less like sensors and more like Morse code. I'm gonna need you to get that
Uh-oh.
a little together, please.
Because I'm trying to
Breaker 1, 2.
press it fast, and then as
She got pressed back because she knew what I was gonna say. Because I pulled back like that, and she was like, her eyes got by the button. Soon as his lips start moving, I don't know.
I'm just saying, you never
Hey,
know.
my good people out there, forgive me. Just forgive me. Sometimes I just.
Hey, you human. You're human, and we accept that. We accept that here. But look, we ran out of time for today. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being so active in the chat. We appreciate it. We will be back here next Monday, 4 o'clock, right here on Facebook and YouTube. We are Black versus the Board of Education. If you want, you can go to our student store and purchase one of our lovely shirts. I know some of our co-hosts are like, wait, where's mine? Don't worry, I'm getting some made for y'all so that I can send those out. Without further ado, we would like to hit y'all with the wave. We will see you next week, 4 o'clock right here. And I'll let y'all know the topic because we haven't decided just yet, but it's coming. Take care. Happy New
Woo!
Year.